This is question 4 on the GCSE AQA trilogy chemistry paper. It's the foundation paper 1F from 2018. And there's an opportunity for you to try the question pausing as you go before you review. So here's 4.1, 4.2 and 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7, and finally 4.8. There are 16 marks in total available. So let's now go through and review the answers. The question is about elements in group 2 of the periodic table. We've got labelled elements A, B, C and D. They are not the actual symbols. Which element is in group 2? Now, it is helpful to remember where the groups are, and you can number them ignoring the transition metals in the middle, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we've got group 0 on the end, the noble gases. But also you can use your periodic table if you're not sure. The correct answer is B, is in group 2. 4.2, group 2 metal carbonates break down when heated to produce a metal oxide and a gas. Name the two products when calcium carbonate is heated. So if we know a metal carbonate makes a metal oxide, calcium carbonate will make calcium oxide, CaO. And we're left with the gas, and the most obvious gas, if you're not sure, you can work it out logically, that a carbonate is likely to make carbon dioxide. 4.3, what type of reaction happens when a compound breaks down? And what we're looking for here is decomposition. Burning is combustion, which is oxidation, combination with oxygen. Neutralization is where you are generally making a salt. It can be an acid and an alkali, an acid and a base, etc. And a reduction could be the removal of oxygen or the gaining of electrons. On to 4.4, the metal carbonate takes in energy from the surroundings to break down. What type of reaction takes in energy from the surroundings? Well, we can dismiss the top two. Combustion, we are burning things. That is actually, we know that's releasing energy into the surroundings. Electrolysis is the breakdown of an ionic compound into its elements, and whenever we talk about energy going into or out of the surroundings, we're going to limit it to endo or exothermic. Now, combustion is an exothermic reaction, heat energy released to the surroundings, so the temperature of the surroundings goes up. The reverse of that is the endothermic reaction. On to 4.5, we've got figure 10 showing the volume of gas produced when a group 2 metal carbonate is heated. The student collected 5.2 decimeter cubed of gas. So what mass of the group 2 metal carbonate is heated? Now, for this, I would always recommend that you draw onto the graph to make sure that you are getting the correct information. Don't do it by eye. So my 5.2, I have my line going across, and then I'm going to draw my line down from my data. And that takes me to 32 grams. I've transferred that over because you need it for 4.6. Calculate the mass of the group 2 carbonate needed to produce 24 decimeter cubed of gas. So, what are we going to do? Well, we know that we produced 32 grams. And we know the associated volume of that was 5.2. So let's do 32 divided by 5.2, which essentially tells us what mass there would be for 1 decimeter cubed. And if I then multiply that value by 24, I've got my mass for 24 decimeter cubed. And I get to 148 grams. On to 4.7, a student heated different masses of a group 2 carbonate. The student measured the volume of gas produced. Figure 11 shows a graph of the student's results. The student calculates the gradient of the line in figure 11 and has made 2 mistakes. So we need to look really carefully at what the 2 mistakes are and then go ahead and calculate the gradient. Well, mistake number 1, let's take a look. I have got taking the line that's been drawn, it's going from 1 to 4. That's a difference of 3. Whereas actually the student has written 5 take away 1 equals 4. So we've definitely got an error there. Now, beyond that, we have also got mistake number 2. The gradient is calculated as change in y over change in x, whereas the student has done 4 divided by 750. So they've done the change in x over the change in y. So to actually calculate the gradient, you're going to need to change this 4 to a 3, and you're going to need to invert it. So we get 750 over 3, giving us a value of 250 centimetre cubed per gram. On to 4.8 to finish off the question. A student repeated the experiment with a different group 2 metal carbonate. The relative formula mass of XCO3 is 84. So what's the relative atomic mass of X? And name metal X. And you can use the periodic table to help you to do it. So we're dealing with XCO3. It contains 1 carbon with a relative atomic mass of 12. And it contains 3 oxygens, each with a relative atomic mass of 16. So that's 48 in total. So 48 plus 12 plus X is going to equal 84. Let's rearrange that to make X the subject, or actually not yet. X plus 60 equals 84. Now we can rearrange to make X the subject. X is 84 take 60, and that means the value of X is 24. From the periodic table, the metal with a mass number of 24 is magnesium, and that takes us to the end of the question.